Jim Cummings in the building, dude.
Woo!
Yes. Clap.
Long
Big clap,
time,
big clap.
long time coming. Long
You know
time
what?
coming.
You know what bums me out is that when I Google you, I only cannot find you. I only see Pooh Bear.
Winnie the Pooh.
Winnie the Pooh.
Yeah, it takes a minute. I need 3 swipes to find you.
It's
It's
very
like,
funny.
What's your middle name?
McHugh.
We need like
Jim
Jim
McHugh.
F. Cummings.
Yeah.
or Jim McHugh.
It is funny whenever something happens, if we win an award, sometimes pictures come up and it's of him on the red carpet, where it's
No.
like Jim Cummings wins Sundance, and it's like this beautiful
No.
65-year-old dude on the red carpet. It's really funny.
Yeah,
It happens
love
all the time.
him, but
Yeah,
I'm
yeah.
trying to find you.
Yeah. It's hard to find me. Yeah.
Because you are a director, an actor, a writer,
A producer.
Too many
a
things.
producer,
Too many
Sound
things.
design.
editor.
a good guy.
Foley master.
Oh, Jesus.
digital.
Podcast guest.
Ooh.
Yes.
That's
Superstar.
Add it.
Yeah.
Add it.
And truly, like our new best friend,
Yes.
because we watched your movie and we said, fuck it, let's DM him.
I mean, not really new. It's
We
been
were
like
fangirls.
3-4 years.
4 years.
now.
No.
Yeah.
Did I say new movie?
You said new best friend. I was like, he's been our best friend for a while.
But yeah, it was wild. Y'all watched
I
Wolf of
DM'd him.
Snow Hollow, and then you DM me a voice message being like, "We just watched your movie. We loved it. You're gonna be our new best friend." And
Yeah,
I
we
was like,
choose
"All right,
you."
it's decided. You're our best friend." And then you and I hung out, and we went for
Yeah.
long hikes, and it was
I was
like, "Oh, this
jealous.
is just like a buddy from high school. This is like it was wild."
Which I never had growing up. So I was like, oh my
Perfect.
God, this is like the friend I always
Long lost
wanted,
brother.
But I never
Yeah.
had.
Yeah.
Yeah.
It was
Yeah.
great.
Yeah, I've loved barking in the
Hey, Donnie.
background.
Oh, little puppy.
We got puppies. Dog
Okay.
mom.
Dog mom, I have 4.
And yeah, I did a deep dive
Oh
into
no.
your YouTube last night. Dude, I went to the Jim Cummings wormhole, dude. It's like
It's dark. Yeah.
no, it's amazing.
So big.
Because we had watched Honora together.
Yeah.
And you were just going. And I'm like, this guy really knows every single thing about movies. Anything that's filmed and put on TV, YouTube, any streaming service, you know, every piece that goes into that puzzle. And it blew my mind just you talking about that movie. And I was like, oh my God, I missed that. I missed this. I missed this. And then I'm watching everything that you've done in the last, it's been like, what, 10, 15 years? Like,
Yeah.
you've just been going like this guerrilla style tactic of you built this studio where you do your own coloring. You're in there, you connect a microphone to an iPhone.
Oh wow,
to
you
get
watched everything,
Bro,
Okay,
I was
wow.
locked in. I was
Oh, wow.
locked in. So like any sounds in the movie, he's just making with his, like you
No
can use an
way.
iPhone. You
Yeah.
showed that people can create cinema now with what they have. It doesn't have to be the craziest expensive gear.
Yep.
If you know what you want to make and have the passion and the drive to do it, you can do it yourself, is what I've learned by the gym wormhole I went into last night.
It's true. I mean,
Yeah.
the technology is there now where you can emulate a movie studio from a laptop. And like it feels as though Hollywood hasn't responded to that. Like the kind of narrative of YouTube taking over that started in 2005 is becoming real. Like YouTube is the most watched streaming service of any platform. And it's like you can literally create your own channel and make your own stuff and also get financing from your audience to make stuff. So like it is this perfect circle where you don't have to take terrible executive notes. You can make something that's very good. And, you know, the music industry did this 20 years ago. Like the film industry is just following the path of the music industry where like it would be as though nowadays people are like, oh, you can't start your own label. And it's like, well, no, you can do, of course you can do something on SoundCloud. Like you can just immediately put out stuff and it's more about what the audience thinks about it rather than what the powers that be say.
Exactly.
It's so important.
It's the beauty of the internet. The internet obviously has some dark holes in it, but the beauty of the internet is if you want to create right now, this is the best time to create. We live in like a creative golden age, I feel. And I was
Yes.
reminded that watching all the behind the scenes that it was the beta test.
Yeah.
That documentary.
Yeah.
Incredible.
Thank you. Yeah. I wanted to do that. I was like, we had the option to like make a documentary just following the making of the thing. I was like, well, I don't know anybody else that's doing this at this level of like showing that you can do this entirely on your own from like ideation to self-distribution. And I was like, I feel like it's just an educational issue that most people aren't doing this. Like there are good near peers in the music industry of like being able to show that it doesn't have to be glamorous. Watching the documentary about Amy Winehouse Winehouse, and it's like her with a bunch of mattresses around her to insulate the sound. It's like it doesn't have to look good while you're recording it, so long as it sounds great. It doesn't matter. The audience doesn't mind. It also, like, the fact that it's lo-fi sometimes adds to the value of it, of like, oh, this is somebody that really cares about the thing. Yeah, I think everything is changing towards that. I think really the cat is out of the bag, that you can record something in super high resolution, and if people really dig it, and if you're making something that's from the heart, that's all that matters.
I mean, I just want to say I think that's something that I love about you so much, and realizing that it's just something that I love about you as well, is that you're so different from everyone else because you truly care. Like, the heart is there.
Oh, I care so much. I
Isn't
watched
that
him.
and you
crazy?
but you truly care about your
Yeah.
music, and you really want everyone to experience it in a certain way. And same with your films, is like you're really like going for.
Jim was crying on set when he yelled cut.
Yeah.
That's
He
right.
was laughing. I thought he was laughing. He was crying. He was
Yeah.
bawling in his hand. And I was like, oh my goodness.
I wasn't even acting. I was
Yeah.
behind the
Yeah,
camera
I was like,
watching
he's
somebody else's
behind the
performance.
Because
camera.
he has got a piece of his heart in every single thing involved in
Yeah.
the project.
like,
So when he
"Oh."
sees it all come together, I can only imagine that feeling must be insane.
Oh my God, yeah. I mean, you were there.
Yeah.
So we're doing a TV show Daryl and I made together called The Screener, and we're in the Malibu County Courthouse, and they came to visit. And it's the kind of peak of one of these characters' plots, and to have spent a year writing this story, and then to find someone, BK Cannon, the actress in this case, to really deliver the ideas that we had in a garage. We're just like, I don't even know if this thing is going to happen. And then she's killing it, and I'm watching her cry, and then I'm like, this is just the ultimate climax of this character's life. And yeah, I mean, it's like, it's so fulfilling to me. It's like watching a touchdown. It's like a communal group. We're all behind the monitor watching this thing, years in the making, and she's killing it. And it's like so emotional for everybody. It has to be. But it is interesting that, like, the majority of the film industry, you can go from ideation to writing to production to post-production, and it's possible for nobody to care the
Yeah.
whole time. And
Yeah.
it's like
Wow.
that, it's rare that people care about the artwork that they're making. And that's crazy.
I know.
We could tell in your work how much you care.
Oh, thank you. Yeah, good.
Um,
I hope so.
Why can't I remember the name? I care so much.
Thunder Road.
Yeah, Thunder Road.
That,
Oh,
that's when we
God.
all watched
This
that. We had
sounds
like
brutal.
Please watch Thunder Road. And yeah, the moment in the funeral home.
Yeah.
Right? Or the church.
Yeah, it's a funeral home. Yeah, it's a eulogy that I give.
I care so
at one
much.
point.
I
Yeah.
promise. I'm just
Yeah.
looking at you. I don't
we
care
need to
where you
rewatch.
are.
We
Yeah.
gotta rewatch.
I
We gotta
just
rewatch.
did. It's on
It's
YouTube.
brutal.
You can
We
find
watched
it.
it,
yeah,
But
we
like
watched it with
that
Alex.
whole scene, I was like, oh, this motherfucker cares. Like, and he's great. And he's just
And I'm sitting next to her going,
Killing
all one
it.
shot.
yeah, the whole
The all one shot
All
thing.
one
I
shot.
watched a bunch of your short films, and yeah, they're
Yeah.
like the one shot. It's insane. The Staying Alive, the
Yeah, yeah,
CPR
yeah,
one.
yeah.
and I watched it like a few times. I was like, I can't believe this is one fucking shot.
Yeah,
No
so
cuts.
much happens.
There's so
It's
much
like there's like
happens.
so many spinning plates for this guy. Yeah, that actor Joseph Lee Anderson. It's 3 minutes. It feels
Yeah.
like a feature. You're
Yeah.
watching. It's so stressful. This guy's resuscitating a drowning girl, and then we reveal that he's halfway arrested, and the cops were like, "Oh, this is the only guy in the pool that knows CPR. Let's let him out." And he saves this girl's life, and then they continue to arrest him, and then the crowd is like, "What? You're arresting him?" And he's like,
Yeah.
"Yeah, sorry, they're taking me." But it's like, it's so much fun to do those as little punchlines of just like, you don't realize until halfway through, and you're like, oh wait, this is something completely different. Yeah, we had that idea after Thunder Road, which is about a Thunder Road, me singing the Bruce Springsteen song at a funeral. And I was like, oh, it could be really interesting, because when you do CPR, that's what they tell you to do. You got to do Staying Alive by the Bee
Yeah, it's
Gees.
a BPM.
And that would be so bizarre to start out a movie and somebody's singing the lyrics to Staying Alive, and you have no idea what's happening, and then it's revealed. I was like, oh, that'd be a lot of fun.
Yeah.
And they let us
Oh.
do it. Yeah.
He's like walking in the cop car, and
Yeah.
you just hear in the background like, no, don't worry, I'm a doctor. He goes, oh, you're a doctor.
Yeah, that would have been helpful.
Yeah.
Why did I have to do that? It's really funny. Yeah,
There's so
yeah.
many
So
little things.
The
good.
updated song is now Pink Pony Club.
Oh,
by
yeah?
China Road.
Oh,
Yeah.
very nice to know.
Yeah.
There we
That's
go.
more-
Staying Alive is a little bit a better metaphor, I think,
Yeah,
for
yeah, yeah.
CPR.
That'd be really funny.
but-
Do Staying Alive. I don't know that song.
Yeah.
I don't know what to do.
Pink
Okay.
Pony Club.
Pink Pony
Oh.
Club. Okay, that's easy.
Yeah.
Okay, go.
Can you tell me who Jim was in high school?
Yes. Jim was a kid that would go to a shop called the Mushroom in New Orleans that was like a record store, but they had all these DVDs, and I would just dig through crates of DVDs to find movies. There wasn't a big film community in New Orleans, and so I would just like buy used DVDs, and that became my film education. And I just loved seeing stuff that was made. I saw a film called Monsoon Wedding. It's an Indian film by a filmmaker named Mira Nair. And it's really beautiful. And it's just this very lo-fi story about the stress of going into a wedding, of like a family dealing with this wedding in their backyard. And I was like, oh, you can make a movie about the stuff that happened. Like normally I was, I grew up
Mhm.
watching Spielberg movies and stuff, and I was dreaming that I could get to that. And then seeing these independent films from around the world, where I was like, oh, I don't know if I could do the Spielberg thing, but I could definitely do that. And like that became kind of near peer goals of like, oh, I could, maybe I should try and make a smaller movie. And that really became my film education. But I was like the videographer for the football team. I was like the film AV club kid nerd. And the class clown. And then that I didn't realize that could be a career. It was just like continuing to punch up and do funny stuff and try to impress my friends and
Right,
the
right. Was
girls, you know.
class clown and the most popular one.
Yeah,
And everyone who meets him is like, you should be an actor.
yeah.
And I don't know.
Everyone, every single
Every single
person.
person. Shut up. I just think he's an acting class with Daryl, and sometimes I think he's too. I don't want to speak in front of you about you.
No, that's
for you.
okay.
I
It's
think
the
he's
Working On It
too.
pod. We've been doing this for like 4
Yeah, we've
years.
been
I'm
doing
used to
this.
this
Yeah, you're good.
experience.
You're gonna say, you know what I'm gonna say. He's Massachusetts, like me, like an artist, like just is insecure and doesn't believe in
I
himself.
hate
He's an
myself.
actor.
I'm
He
a
hates
fraud
himself.
every
Yeah.
day.
I was like, that's what
That's
we do,
what an
baby.
actor is.
That's what I do. You're born for this.
Yes.
So
I'm gonna
when
tap into
did
it on the
you
Club Chris
go?
tour. I'll
When
get
did
to
you go
experience it.
from behind the camera to go, fuck it, I'm gonna go in front?
Well, it was a long time. So I acted in some of my friends' things early on, and I produced some music videos for Lil Dicky. I knew I'd be an okay actor because I think I understood sensibilities. Watching 1,000 movies, Robert De Niro and stuff, I was like, oh, I could do something humiliating and about toxic masculinity and how dumb it is, and like I would love to do that
And you're
someday.
pretty.
And I've got a good jawline,
You've
and
got
so
a
that helps.
real good
My mom
hairline
always
and
says that, just like, you'll
jawline.
do fine, honey. You're
Your
beautiful.
eyes.
So from a very young age, I knew I was beautiful. Thanks, Mom. Thank you, Donna. But really, I felt like I would be accused of being an egotist or a megalomaniac if I acted in my own stuff. And so for a long time, I didn't. And then I was like, oh, what's the worst that can happen? I'll just do it. And then that became the Thunder Road Short.
What's the worst that can happen?
But I'm not a trained actor. I've never really done any theater or acting classes. And so
Shut up.
No
Yeah.
theater.
no.
Mm-mm.
And so
Dude, you're fine.
but I had these
Nice.
long commutes to work, and so I could rehearse it 3 or 4 times before going to work, and then 3 or 4 times on the way home. And then I just did it 1,000 times because I felt so inadequate. Because as an actor that's untrained, you constantly feel like you're gonna be seen as a fraud and a phony. And I was just like, if I can just spend the time doing it 1,000,000 times, it might nobody will notice, maybe. And then you talk to every trained actor and they're like, oh yeah, I feel so inadequate all the time. And like, I'm never
Yeah.
going to be good. And that's
Oh my
normal. It's
God,
par for the
yeah.
course. Yeah. So for a long time, I thought, oh, I shouldn't do that because I don't want to come across as an egomaniac. And then I see Jackie Chan doing it, and he's writing scenes for him to get punched, and he punches somebody and his hand hurts. And it's like, it's all humiliation. It's supposed to be funny. So yeah, I think I had good peers that were like, oh, you could do it if you wanted to. And then it was a weekend. I was like, let's take a Saturday and we'll all make
So
something.
was your first role, like legit role, something that you wrote?
Kind of. I did some improv work with my buddy Tony Asenda, who he directed all the Lil Dicky music videos, and I was his producer. And I made a short film called This Is Jay Calvin that I acted in, where I play like a terrible, cheesy, like Craigslist director, which is kind of like, how we cut our teeth making stuff was making industrial videos and stuff growing up. That's all we could do after college. And then that was kind of like a boot camp because I had to act 24/7 as this kind of cheesy dude. And I was decent at it. And I also edited that film. But the first time I really committed to playing somebody of my own was Thunder Road. And that did very well. And I was like, all right, well, that was almost 10 years ago, 9 years ago now. And I was like, all right, I'm just going to keep doing this. I think people will be okay with it so long as it's humiliating. And I'm not trying to make myself look cool because it's like so painful to do. People are impressed. They're like, I can't believe you did that.
Yeah, that's sick.
Yeah.
It's so good. Oh my gosh. Yeah, I've been doing pop star stuff for 10 years and I never thought I could. Like I got
Yeah.
accidentally tossed in and I was like, oh, like low key was my biggest dream ever, but I wasn't confident enough to ever think it could be me. So when I did it, I've just like for 10 years been like, oh my God, they're still picking me. Okay. Like, and I'm still like signing new record deals and I'm like, should I keep doing this music thing? Like I'm allowed to, I still have that. I think that's why I see you so well. And I'm like, hey,
Isn't that
it's so
funny how
raw and
like
real.
normal it becomes too? Of like people come up to me and they're in film school and they're like, "How do you do it?" And it's like, "Well, I've just been doing it for 10 years. I don't
Yeah.
pretend to know what I'm doing, but like
I still don't
you
know.
just do it enough and then you get used to it and then you're doing it. And it's like
Yeah. The best
there's
thing
no
my dad ever
magic.
said to us was like, you do anything to be like even a little good at it, you got to do it for 5 years at least. And I remember 5 years into the music industry, I was like, I don't feel like I'm good yet. Like, I was like,
Dad.
I don't know if I've mastered this. He was like, give it 5 more years. And now that I'm at 10, I'm like, oh, I feel better now. Like,
Yeah.
I feel more secure in my job and like, I know what I'm doing
I think
or
that's
I
why you're
speak
able
up
to do
more.
this for so long, though, is because you never considered yourself like, I've mastered this. I
Oh,
think
no,
that's
yeah.
like the downfall of
I'm
people where they're
still,
like, I
yeah.
know everything completely about this craft.
Yeah.
Then it gets a little wild,
When I
you
wrote
know?
Made You Look, I was in the gym with him and I was like, how's this chorus? Is this like garbage or is this good? And I was like, I could have my Gucci on. And he was like, yo, that's fire. And I was
Yeah,
like,
I was like, are you
really?
out of your mind? That's incredible. Get in the studio now. What are you doing in the gym?
But
Get the
I
fuck out
literally
of
was
here.
like, is this garbage? Like, should I trash this?
Yeah.
And that's
Isn't that wild?
everything I write. I'm like, I can't tell if I love it or despise it.
For the new year, you've probably resolved that you'd get a bit more reading done or finish that book that you started last year, or you're looking to tap into your well-being by reading titles that will inspire you or motivate you. Well, for the new year, why not expand your life by listening on Audible?
Audible has over 1 million audiobooks, podcasts, and exclusive Audible originals, all in one easy-to-use app.
Audible has the traditional bestsellers and their great podcasts, but they also have titles that offer expert advice on health, relationships, career, finance, and so much more.
Audible's deep library means there's always something to listen to or enjoy, and it's so easy to bring your next title with you wherever you go. I can't get enough of Audible. It's the best, because when I'm reading, I get stuck on one page and I'm reading it over and over, and I go, what did I just read?
Same.
You gotta have Matthew McConaughey talking to you.
Green lights.
I gotta listen to that book. Sign up for a free 30-day trial at audible.com/workinonit. That's audible.com/workinonit.
I remember hearing there was a story of Ricky Gervais where he's talking to his girlfriend after The Office's success. It's the highest grossing television show in British history. And he was 40 when he made it. And he turned to his girlfriend and he goes, man, imagine if I had made this when I was 30. Imagine what we do. And she goes, it wouldn't be any good.
Yeah.
You
Wow.
had to go through all of this stuff in order for it to be what it is now. It's true. It's like I feel like learning and watching 1 million movies and then seeing people do it. You get to a point where you're like, oh, what's the worst that can happen? What am I going to trouble? It's not going to be good. If it's not going to be good, I won't release it. It's fine. I'll just keep making stuff. And then you get decent enough at it. You learn the craft a bit, and then you learn the system of how to entertain people. And you're like, all right, cool. And you learn how you speak the language of movies and artwork, and you realize everybody does that. All of your heroes have done the exact same thing.
But do you watch movies sometimes? Like how I sometimes I'm like, please no music. Like, and
Yeah.
even my son is like, can we listen to calm stuff? And we just put on meditation music. Because if I listen to new songs, I'll either like really love it, like Abracadabra by Lady Gaga, or I study them and I'm like, why would they choose to go that way? They should have went the other way. Like, why I study it, and I'm like, now I'm angry. Or
Yeah.
if it's really successful, I'm like, I don't understand it. Like, I
Yeah.
don't get it. Do you watch movies like that where
All
you're
the
like,
time.
why the fuck would they go
All
that
the time.
way?
And that I loved watching Enora with y'all. I mean, not just to see an incredible piece of cinema that's like so well crafted and put together and seamlessly. It feels so real, and yet all of these heavy thinkings and plot lines were put together. It's a very well crafted film. But I also watch terrible movies because it's such confirmation about, oh, I know they did this wrong, or like that was probably a studio note that they had to incorporate.
Yeah, I
Like
think about that too.
you kind of have to. Like
I'm like,
I
which
feel like
producer did this to her?
that's just like analysis. Yeah,
Yeah.
it's like
We always immediately go, who wrote the song? Who's the producers? And
Yeah.
study it. And we're like,
Yeah, you have to. I feel like that's a bit of self-reflection of like seeing how other people do it badly. Like you get to have that of, okay, well, it can't be that. Like, because they've tried that and it didn't work.
Yeah.
You have to do that in order to make anything good.
Yeah, it's like knowing what you don't like is just
As
as
good as
powerful of
knowing what you
knowing
like.
what you do like.
And if I watch a masterpiece movie, I'll go, oh, I'm never making anything that good. And then
Yeah,
like I'll quit.
dude.
If I watch a terrible film, I'm just like, let me do it.
I
Let me
was
get
like,
in there.
how did I
Whatever.
not write
You know?
abracadabra? It is so good. I love it so much. And I'm like, of course I didn't write it, That's Gaga. That's her thing.
I
That's
watched it the
great.
first time here on y'all's TV.
Oh, that's
I was
right.
like,
Riley and
I
Barry were
hadn't
going
seen
to
it.
bed.
And they were like,
Oh
going
my
to bed. It's like, we got to
God.
watch it. It's so good.
It's so
It's
good.
so cool,
The
too. That
outfits,
music
the
video is
makeup,
great.
everything. I just love it.
She's back.
She's back, baby.
She
Yeah,
never
Gaga,
left.
She
She
never
never
left.
But
left.
she is back. I love what she's doing. I love it.
I love it.
I love Joker too. Like I
Yeah.
am like, I'm sorry to
I
say
know,
it. Like
Ryan, you
I
gotta watch Joker
fucking
too.
Have you not
loved
watched
that movie.
it?
No, we watched it
Oh,
without him.
boy.
Remember?
I fucking loved
I
that
loved it
movie.
too.
It's
What did you love about it?
I loved it's very well crafted. And he's not an interesting guy. And they are like they have such inadequate personalities, and it's about a sociopath loser who gets into the limelight. And I think the audience want him to be Heath Ledger in this kind of like cool, suave thing. But Todd Phillips is doing this thing where it's like super realistic about what these dudes and girls are like that are in asylums. And
Yeah.
it's I don't know. I just loved it. I loved it. I've never seen anything that big, and it was hilarious.
Yeah,
Yeah.
it was funny. She
It's
was
so
great. I think
funny.
I'm like, it's very hard for me to enjoy something where they're just sitting there and they break out into song.
But it was
And the whole
Sinatra.
song.
Says the
I
singer.
know,
But it was Sinatra.
but it wasn't Sinatra singing. You know what I mean?
I just liked how janky it was. Like they purposely put the pianist in a soundproof booth on set to play along, and
Oh
then
wow, I didn't know that.
they didn't give the
See,
performers music.
you
They
don't
just went
know.
off of them. So it has this really weird, not great
That's good to
recording
know
style.
going in
Yeah.
because I did not. I was like,
It's
damn, how they lip sync
s-
this so good.
it's so bizarre. No, they did it off of their performance, which means that they didn't have
Wow.
music underneath it. So it's off tempo. It's kind of all over the
Yeah.
place. It's like it's in their head. But I just loved how she's like smoking cigarettes. She's got like runs in her stocking. She's
Yeah,
kind
she
of
looked
like
great.
yeah, it's interesting. It was really good. I dug it a lot. And then everybody hated it, and I'm like, that's so stupid. Like I ended up watching the movie. I usually try and not watch something if there's a lot of hype and then Julia and I will watch it, and we have to be like, that was excellent. Like, what are people talking about? Like,
Yeah.
I loved it.
That's how I feel in opposite way too, where people are like, you have to watch it. It's so good. It's so good. And I watch it, I go, what is everyone talking about? This
I love that
is
with
terrible.
Honora, you had seen it. You're like, yeah, you might like it. I don't know. And then like you didn't overhype it. I was like, oh my god, it's so good.
Yeah.
It was really fun.
Yeah.
How was it like you two working on set like day one? Like Daryl's just back into the work
I'll
mode.
tell you that he came home was like, I love my life.
Yeah.
He killed
so
it.
I was in awe. I was so
He's like,
inspired.
He's so
I
good,
just-
Megan. You have to understand.
But
From
that's
the top of the day to the bottom. Like
He kept the same energy
everything.
all
Yeah.
day long. Everyone respects him, but everyone like loves him, and he's inspiring. Like you're inspiring throughout the day, and no one would know all of the things that you do because like you don't show it. You're a great leader.
Yeah, your Instagram is whack, my dude. I gotta help you post
Yeah.
some more.
Oh,
I'm
please, please, please. I need
it's
help.
great, but it's like one
I
post
don't-
of
yeah.
blue fabric, and I'm like, baby, you gotta show what you do on work on set.
Yeah, that's true.
You're a cool guy.
Listen,
Yeah.
he's an auteur. He's a filmmaker. Social
know,
media
I will
is
post
not
for
in his
you.
wheelhouse.
I'm gonna
Please
post
do.
the
Yeah.
clip.
I'm gonna
Once
let
it's out,
you
I'll
take
post
over.
the clip of you crying on
Okay.
set. and
Oh
be
my
like, this
god.
guy.
Oh my god.
No, but I was in
Only with your
heaven,
permission.
Jim, just because you I mean, we've been friends for years now, and I was always so scared to like cross that line because I'd never had
was.
Oh, working together?
yeah,
Yeah.
my
I
God,
never
terrifying.
had like a real friend that I've never had a real friend, period. Then I've never had a real friend that I've worked with where I met them as a friend first and then we work together. Usually it's the other way around where
Yeah.
you work with someone and you go like, oh, I fuck with that guy. And,
Yeah.
and then you become friends. And so I was scared to cross that boundary.
Terrified.
You like open arms said, yeah, let's work together. You gave me an amazing part. And then it was just like, oh fuck, now I have to actually like deliver.
And he did.
And
Well,
thank
the first day,
Did he?
we gave him a 7-minute scene of conversation, and it's all locked off
Oh,
camera.
she knows. She helped
It
me run
should
my lines
be
all night
great.
long, and
I
she
was
was
so
like, "What the
angry.
fuck? You don't know this?"
The
It
night
should
before.
have been
Didn't know it.
so boring, and it's like it is so captivating to watch. Daryl is so good in it. It's so funny. He plays this like highfalutin entertainment lawyer who is posturing as if he knows what he's talking about and trying to minimize a problem.
It's very much life imitating art.
It's so
imitating
fulfilling to
life.
watch. It's one of my favorite scenes. It's 7 minutes. It's like there's no reason a television show should have a 7-minute scene in it, and you can't take your eyes off of it. It's so much fun.
Anything we've learned that's funny and like that makes us funny, I think is from Ryan. And
Ah.
yeah, dude, everyone tells me how funny I am. And I'm like, because I had the funniest brothers growing up and all my comedy was learned from you. And then I remember like when I started drinking and partying and smoking weed, I'd get even funnier. And then I was like, oh, I have something right here.
Where are you going with this,
something
Megan?
here.
Where are you going with
I'm
this?
You
just
guys
saying-
don't
I
do
had
drugs
that.
and
Don't do
alcohol
drugs
to
and
be
drink.
funny.
We're
Pretty
all sober
sober.
now.
Yeah, we're all
I'm
sober.
just
She
saying when you
learned
were
at a-
reading
at a
when you were
party.
reading
But-
your lines to me, I was noticing I was like, oh, he's getting funnier. Like when we first started dating, dude wasn't funny. And he wasn't funny. He was funny to laugh at. He was
He's
so
dead
cute and
serious.
charming. But then like he's been getting funnier and I was like, oh my God, are you funny?
Oh my
And-
god, am I rubbing off on you? Are you only funny because
Are you
you're
only funny
around me all
because
the
of me
time
and my
Ryan all
brother?
the time?
I just want to say, Ryan, thank you for your funny.
Yes, Ryan. Thank you. For
We
your
love
funny.
it, and we
Honored.
used it at work.
Thank you.
I get that.
Cut.
We had a like our dinner table. My
job,
brother
good
was
job.
always funny, and like
Yeah.
I was never the funny one. But I would like write lines kind of and do scenarios at the dinner table, and then he would steal my best joke and deliver it better. And so I always felt like I was an observer of the funny. I was never the funny
I am.
one. You
and
know?
I'm always in front of the camera, and I'm
Oh.
like, guys, you gotta get him. He's funny.
I don't know if we
you
can use this, but it's the most incredible feeling in the world anytime Megan does a show and she goes, I also play bat mitzvahs, because I was like, I wrote that line.
Yeah, Daryl.
Yes.
Daryl is very
He's
funny.
like-
That's really good.
Telling
Thank
you
you.
That's
about
really
it.
good.
I say it every private show.
Yeah, he was just looking around studying us to be like, what do they think is funny? Because he's got it all,
I'm
right?
a,
He's
I'm a
got it all.
chameleon. I gotta
He
be like,
is.
what is
He can
funny to
adapt.
these guys?
And Justin, our younger brother, is actually
He
extremely
is.
funny.
Oh,
He's
to the
sneaky,
point where he
sneaky funny.
almost thought about doing stand up,
Yeah.
but I think
He'd be good at it.
he was
Yeah, he
like,
would.
he's very shy, like doesn't want to do this
That's
podcast
perfect.
with us,
Mhm.
doesn't want
Yeah.
to be on stage. And
Yeah.
I was like, yeah, that's like
Yeah.
a comedian, you know?
Yeah. I mean, there's great comedians that just write jokes of just like, hey, go and do this thing.
True.
Like,
But
it
like,
happens.
okay, for anyone who's listening and watching, where do you start? You know what I'm saying? People ask me that. I'm like, I have no idea. Like, it's just
Garage
like,
band. You started on
Start
Garage
yeah, I
small.
was like,
Yeah.
I
Yeah.
wrote every song and I only got to the label because I wrote a song that they loved. So like create.
But also before that, mom and dad were dragging you to all these songwriting conventions. You have to
Yeah.
go to gatherings where other people are
Yeah.
at
they
to
blessed
network.
they blessed
and-
me with those. I was like, I don't want to fucking go.
No, you didn't want- you didn't wanna go at all.
I
Dragged
think,
me.
I think
and then I
kind
always
of like
loved it.
in your world, but also like what Jim was saying, and that's what I use most of the time as acting class is watching movies.
Yep.
Is like you can listen to songs and dissect songs. You watch movies, dissect movies. You pick out the parts you like. You pick out the parts you don't like. There's Sam Rockwell apparently watches like 2 films as soon as he wakes up in the morning, back to back, and he picks out the little parts that he likes of Dustin Hoffman's performance and goes, I'm going to use that today.
Yeah.
And then somehow finds a way to use this little mannerism that Dustin Hoffman did in
Whoa.
Tootsie.
I do
Like-
notice when you play Sam Cooke every morning, I'm like writing down like, oh, that's a nice swing right there. Like I should go do that someday, you know?
So you start by finding out what you like, finding out
But
what you
the
don't
acting
like.
world to me is so much bigger than music. Like I feel like on music, you can go on TikTok, sing a cover, and make fans. Like acting, how do you get your foot in any part of the door?
I think really by starting small and reminding yourself that you are an actor every day, even if it's something small, like memorizing the menu at a restaurant and just memorizing the
Whoa.
lines, small things like that that are just helpful and additive
I'm
to
about
the
to be an
craft.
actress. Watch out.
Yeah. Yeah. Anybody can do it. There's no magic to it. You just have
Yeah.
to do the thing. But really starting small, like starting GarageBand or shooting a short film on an iPhone, picking a Saturday, bullying your friends into becoming a film
Doing a
crew.
TikTok.
You could film.
Yeah,
Remember that
it's
scary movie we watched all on an iPhone? Remember that one that was filmed on an iPhone? The Scary
Unsane?
movie.
Yeah.
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 Soderbergh.
I loved
Yeah.
it.
Yeah.
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 But I think what he was saying before with YouTube and TikTok, I see a lot of short
True, short films.
content getting
yeah.
posted on those platforms where, yeah, people are just making their own stuff. Like you can make your own stuff. It's similar to music, but it does come down to like who do you know?
Who do you know?
Who do you
Mhm.
know?
Who can hold the
Well,
camera?
Jim is
He
great
countered
with
that?
this, and he reminded me, like when I was younger, I had agents, I had managers, and I was like, they can't fucking do anything for me. I'm gonna just use
Do
the
it yourself.
connections I know and talk to the people I know and figure out how they know certain people, and I'll just do it myself and pave my own way. And I did that up until a point, and then for some reason lost it, got lost, and then just relied on other people to make those phone calls and write the emails. And Jim was the one to be like, oh well, I just I direct message the person, and if someone sends me a tape on Instagram, I watch it. And I'm like,
Yeah.
oh fuck, I
Wow.
should be
Yep.
fucking.
Oh,
And then
I
I think
listened to
about how we
demos.
met, and we met through a DM,
Mhm.
and it was just like a, I love your work,
I was like, I'm
would
doing
love
it.
to
Fuck
be
it.
friends. Yeah.
Yeah, I think really like I was very lucky. Like Vimeo staff picks was this thing that was like a clout, like a stamp of approval from this company that was a cultural organization. Just like, oh, it'd be so cool graduating from college to make something that was worthy of being on the front page of Vimeo. And so that was this thing that everybody in my age group was chasing and still do. And so that was something that was encouragement to like make something that was short form where like I couldn't afford to make a feature. I couldn't make something that I really wanted to do, but I was like, I could make something like, and then I think I was making stuff for so long that I thought people wanted to see without doing any of the educational stuff of seeing stuff that was actually working and good inside of that medium. Like going on Short of the Week, there's a website called Short of the Week, and they have a channel for all of the film festivals. And anytime a film gets posted to the internet, they'll add it to the channel. So you can watch all these short films for free that were at Sundance and South by Southwest. And that really became my education when I started making good stuff. Where I was like, oh yeah, that is really good. Like I'm not competing with the kids I went to college with and their dumb movies. It's like there's somebody making something really cool in Ukraine. Like that's incredible. How do I make something? This is the real competition in artwork. And that just changed my metronome of like what was good. And yeah, so it's partially educational and starting out, and then just feeling comfortable doing smaller things that you can make perfect.
Mm.
So like it doesn't have to be an album, it can be a
Mhm.
single, it can be
Mhm.
something that you're
Yeah.
really focused on and understand the landscape of where it's going to, who the audience is, that kind of stuff.
When you're making the movie, like halfway, are you thinking about the audience? Like when I'm writing these albums, I'm like, who's gonna listen to this? And like, are my fans gonna appreciate this? Do you have like a following now that you're like, oh, I gotta deliver for them?
I think
Or are you just
really
writing
there's
for
a
you?
No, I do end up writing for an audience. I'm still the class clown. I think it is important to like I just really love the experience of being in a cinema and everybody's laughing
Oh
and like
man.
it's
Yeah.
great. Especially it feels like stand-up comedy more like
Yeah,
if
you are.
you make something and you have the stage for a second, everybody has your attention. It has to be form fit to them. You have to kind of understand the roller coaster that they're on and make something fulfilling for them. They could listen to anybody, they could watch anybody's stuff. It has to be something form fit for them. So I'm constantly thinking about that of like, especially like in the frame of like, okay, cool, we're gonna have something funny in the background because that's gonna pay off. An attentive audience is gonna
Wow.
track this throughout the show. All of that has to be done. I think for it to be good.
That's a lot.
This is kind of a sidetrack, but if you ever get the opportunity to do a play,
Mhm.
it is the most fun thing to do as an actor because it really is kind of selfish and is for you because the audience changes every night, but you're still
Got it.
in the same play. So it's really fun as the actor because there are some times where an audience will laugh at something that is not funny at all.
Huh.
And you're just kind of, and you have to stay in the scene in the moment, but you're like, what the fuck? Like I did a play about Columbine and there were people
Yeah.
laughing at certain lines in the play and it was the scariest
Yeah.
thing.
And they found levity in one
Yeah.
small thing.
Yeah.
I think that is an important note that the crowd does change and you kind of you have to know who you're making it for, and it's okay if these people don't laugh. Like we just screened my new short film in Santa Barbara, and I think the median age in Santa Barbara is about 65, and I was like, it killed at Tribeca because it's hipsters,
Yeah.
but it's like it's gonna be quiet in the theater for
Yeah.
these moments.
No,
So
I
like,
have different crowds.
and that's okay.
Yeah.
It's like it's totally fine. You're not necessarily making it for every crowd. You're making it for
Yeah.
this group. And Rick Gervais said that with The Office. He was like pitching it to BBC One, and they said no, they didn't want to do it, and so he had to go to BBC Two. And he's like, I think that's a good thing. Like that's we
Yeah.
don't want to appeal to that crowd, and that's okay.
Never thought of the difference between BBC One and BBC Two.
Yeah,
That was a thing.
yeah, it's a
Yeah.
thing.
Wow.
Why are you so good at playing an alcoholic cop?
3 years sober. Yeah. 10 years off the force. No, I was never a police officer. I really love watching somebody in uniform. We're all wearing uniforms. I feel like we all have this forward presenting thing of professionalism, and to breach that is funny. To have somebody
So good.
take all their clothes off in a parking lot, getting fired, and just shouting at everybody, spitting on everybody. That is so fulfilling as a human being, not just as a performer to do the thing, but also like anytime I watch a Karen video of somebody on
I love Karen videos.
on an airplane, and they're just and like there is something that speaks deeply to me of I've been there. I've wanted to do that, and I would never do that. I am so unconfrontational and an introvert. I would never ever do that in my wildest dreams. But there is something so fulfilling that is just being able to admit that the system doesn't really work for everybody, and that society is this thing that we put on, and that it's okay to break it. It's okay. We're humans. It's okay to do that. So I love doing that. I love playing somebody who has an official capacity that has to wear this ridiculous uniform. I wear a suit in the new show. I'm the district attorney, and I fall off the wagon. But I find that to be so life affirming for people who are going through hell, to give ammunition to people who are going through hell that will make them go, oh, I'm not going to do it that bad. That's really great.
I don't know. I tried to ask a doctor once, like, why do I love typing in like public outbursts? I love it. I love watching Jerry Springer. I love watching like chaos that's supposed to be real or something. I love cringe. That's why I love your stuff, because you were the master of cringe.
Yeah.
Do you type in stuff like that and study it? Is that why yours are so good?
There's a subreddit called Public Freakouts, and there's new videos every day, and it's usually
it's my new thing now.
There's something so interesting as a performer as well to see it take place, to see theater take place. And I know it's real things, but like to see something in an unconventional space like a restaurant or a grocery store or a gas station, and it's just this human drama that's taking place in a place that is inappropriate. You're not supposed to do that. The airplanes.
So good.
It's so inappropriate. And it's like
so
there's
bad.
complete strangers around you, and they have their heads down just like, please stop,
Everyone's
please
like,
stop,
"Oh,
please,
no."
mom, please stop. I find that to be so interesting theatrically, where it's like it'd be so interesting to see a movie. Anora is a lot of that. There's so much drama in restaurants and strip clubs and all over the place. It's very interesting to watch because it's an unconventional place to have drama.
Yeah, they're in a lot of public spots.
Yeah, I love that.
That's a great
Boardwalk.
point.
I love that. Like there's something so confrontational that feels pedestrian. Of just like, oh, you could just be watching this on the sidewalk. I feel like I've seen this in New York all the time.
Yeah.
I don't know. I find that to be so much more interesting than it being in a living room or someplace private. I love public freakouts.
Yeah. We saw one at Target the other day.
Sometimes when I
what
get a
happened?
massage, I just
Remember?
type that in.
Public
and I
freakout.
watch it.
It's just calming, and
so
you just
good, dude.
that's
Yeah.
No, Target the other day,
But
we
Target,
were
yeah.
pulling into the parking lot.
Oh my
and
God,
these
I was
two
like,
guys
"Please,
were
let me put
literally
down the windows."
flexing at each other,
Yeah, he
screaming
was
at
like,
each other
"Oh,
at the
yeah,
top.
buddy."
And they were
I was
just
like,
flexing, and the one
Yeah.
guy
I was
was
like,
how much
way
do you even lift,
stronger
bro?
than the
Dude,
other guy.
that's what he was like,
That's
"Whoa."
the best.
and the wife started. She was like, "Hey, knock it off!" And I was like, "Daryl, please turn around."
She's
And-
like,
but we
slow
had-
down, slow down. I'm like, no, we got the kids in the car.
Yeah,
We're
Riley
gonna
was
keep
in the
going.
back, and I was like,
Yeah.
"Fine."
Riley was
I
like,
was
what,
like, "Come
Mama?
on,
What
I
is
wanna
Slow
it?
down and
watch."
watch this
I was
shit.
like,
Yeah.
I was like, the day
It's
I
finally
feel like
happening.
it's gonna be like feeling like when you win a Grammy out. The day I get to be right next to a public freak out is gonna be the day of my life. Like,
dude,
I'm
it's
so-
scary.
No,
it's so
Yeah,
scary,
Ethan,
but-
I love
but I'm
that. I
gonna
thought
be
you were
like,
gonna go when I get to be the
Yeah.
Karen.
Hell
When I
no,
get to
I
have
would
a
never.
complaint.
Are you kidding me?
I could never. I can't
couldn't.
imagine. I was Julie and I talk about this. It's just like we're so unconfrontational. If somebody brings us the wrong dish at a restaurant, we go, "Thank you. That was
Oh
great.
my
That was great.
God.
I would
Let me
never
eat this.
yeah,
No,
yeah. Oh, I
yeah.
cannot wait. Oh,
I
this
cannot
is
wait.
great.
Thank you
I would,
so much.
exactly what I
That's why when I
wanted.
came home from dinner the other night, I went to a very fancy dinner. It was nice food. I came home. I was like, I hated it. I fucking hated it, but I didn't tell
You didn't tell
anyone
anybody.
there.
Oh,
No.
wow.
I would never
Wow,
see
wow.
that. I was
Yeah,
like, what
yeah.
a lovely dinner.
Yeah, yeah.
And then I got home. I was like, "Bleh," you know? I ate a shrimp. I don't like shrimp. I ate a
Ew.
giant
Out of
shrimp.
politeness.
Out of
Out of
politeness. Because I felt bad.
Yeah.
People
And then
pleasing.
I
Polite.
The
Yeah.
whole-
People
bought-
pleasing.
and then-
We did a
People
whole
And then I
episode on
bought
That's
that.
the
right.
whole meal.
Yes. Yes.
I hate
Yes.
myself.
I hated this.
I
Thank
was like,
you.
never coming back. I was like telling people, don't go here.
Oh, yeah. Yeah. Polite
But I
society.
was like, look,
It'll
thank
kill
you.
you.
Yeah,
It'll
it's
kill
killing
you.
me.
Yeah.
I'm working on that with my therapist.
It is
It's been
funny. All
great.
those videos really pop. Like my favorite account on Instagram is Street People of Los Angeles, and that's all it is. It's
Okay.
like it's the chaos.
That shit
in
is
LA.
like amazing to me.
Yeah, but
to
it's
watch.
fast. It's interesting why humans love watching that. I get because everyone has
Yeah,
an
what
inner
is that?
shadow. Everyone has that shadow. Everyone has
I
that
wanna freak
darkness.
out. You
but we're
mean? I
able
could
to because we're
never.
in like the society where no, we we don't do that, which is
Yeah.
for the best.
Mhm.
But
Yeah.
a
I'm
PC
in the
was
public
like,
eye. I
"Oh,
can't freak
I
out.
want to fucking, I'm feeling froggy right now. I remember being in IHOP in college at like 3
Yeah.
a.m. And I was like mumbling something to my friend, and this guy looks at, you feeling froggy? I go, what the fuck does that mean?
You talking to me?
He wanted to fight
Yeah.
for no reason.
Shut up.
I
Yeah.
go, no, I'm not feeling froggy, sir. Have a good evening.
Yeah.
I was like, what the fuck?
Froggy?
Yeah,
Yeah.
3 a.m. IHOP.
Yeah, that's where it goes down.
Yeah.
That's where it
Yeah.
pops off.
The people are just
No one
feeling
should be
froggy,
there.
dude.
I got
They just-
shoulder checked by a dude in New York City when I was 12.
Yep.
And he
Oh.
shoulder checked me and then turned around and goes, "Nice fucking guy."
See, if I get honked at, I'm crying all day.
You didn't do anything. Yeah. If you get honked at,
I got shoulder checked. I'll never forget
Julia's
it.
the
I
same way.
cried.
If
Yeah.
if we're walking past
His
somebody
wife,
and it's
we
yeah, my
love.
beautiful wife, we're walking past somebody with a dog and they go, "Ugh," and they do the smallest thing. She's like, I cannot believe she did that,
I
and she'll be
cannot
thinking about
believe-
it for days.
Days, years.
And it's like it must be something about me. I don't know what it
Yeah.
is. It was just like it has nothing
if
to do with
he's driving,
you.
I'm in the car, we get honked at. I go, "What did you do?" You know, and I'm like, "Fuck, they hate us now."
I love getting honked at.
Yeah.
Like, what?
Riley
what did
now
you
Riley
do?
now goes, "Dad, was that your car?" And I was like, "No, it was a car behind us,
It's
buddy."
mine.
But it's
Yeah,
fine.
yeah, yeah.
Don't worry about it.
Yeah.
I don't know what it is, but I'd rather be over here than the one honking. You know.
I
Nice
love that.
fucking guy.
Nice
Nice
fucking guy.
fucking
You didn't do
guy.
anything.
12-year-old
And
child.
it's insult to
I laughed.
injury,
No, I
literally.
laughed
Yeah, you
afterwards.
have to.
Because
at
I
that
was just
point.
like,
So funny.
"Wow, I
Wow,
love
this
New York."
guy. Yeah.
Wow, you're so
The
New
Big
York.
Apple.
I'm
This is
terrified.
As
New
I've
York.
gotten older, I realized we were in Times Square. He didn't
Yeah.
want to be in Times Square. He
Yeah.
was just upset.
Yeah,
No.
man.
Yeah.
Ugh.
I remember seeing that there was a statistic about how young people on Twitter and on Facebook will say something sucks, and when you get into your 30s and 40s, they say, "Oh, it's a bummer."
Yeah.
And it's so true. You get to a certain point where somebody's angry at you, you're like, "Oh yeah, they must be going through something today." Anyway, moving on.
Yeah.
You know.
Yeah. You could put yourself in their shoes and be like, yeah, I would probably be acting the same way. It's okay.
Yeah, I'd
It's
probably
okay.
shoulder check a
Bummer.
12-year-old too.
Yeah.
Yeah. I get it. I get it.
it.
I
You're
get
having
it.
a bad time. You get more empathetic as you age. You're like,
Your
I've
heart
been
has
there.
grown times the size.
Three
times
times
Three times the
The
size
Grinch.
and Justin's. Yeah.
Yes.
Yeah.
My bros.
Sobriety,
It's
be
the
more
love and
present.
their
you
love.
How
know?
long
I
you been
feel like-
sober?
3.5.
June
June
1st.
I'm 3 in January. You got me beat. So yeah,
So-
this January 28th. Yeah.
Yeah, the 3. Yeah, 3 is like the best. That's when it like clicks. 3 years. The first couple were tough for me.
I felt it immediately, like a month or two afterwards, of just like, oh, I'm smart. Oh, like my brain is working
You're
so much
so
better.
smart.
Yeah,
I
you're like
did
someday.
too much damage.
Yeah. He's like, I took ice cream scoops out of my
Yeah,
brain,
but like by
dude.
year 10, I go, I'm smart now.
Yeah.
I got
Yeah.
a lot of rebuilding to do, which I had been doing. But yeah, that's
Do you feel better?
I feel much better.
Isn't
He
it
looks
great?
like 10 years younger.
Yeah,
Yeah.
that's
Starting to
another
look like
thing.
ruh-roh.
Yeah. The vanity kicks in. You're just like, oh man, why was I doing that? I look so much better
Yeah,
now.
we look
yeah.
at pictures now. We're like,
Yeah,
buddy.
good God. Yeah.
Good
Just
God.
much more appreciative of
You look
life.
Him holding Riley. He had bleached blonde hair.
Oh, nice.
He was
Yeah,
like-
yeah,
Awesome.
yeah.
Feel like
Just looked
20
a
pounds
shit
heavier.
bag. Yeah.
And he was like, oh my God. I was like, it was scary handing the baby to you. You know?
Yeah.
You're like,
The
"Uh-oh."
blunder years. Yeah.
Yeah.
But you're
Live
so
and you learn.
handsome.
You live and you learn.
You live and you
Yeah.
live and you learn.
I like that the Ricky quote you had with his wife being like, well, if you did this when you're 30, it'd be shit. So like everything I've been doing recently, I'm like, oh, I wish I did this when I was 21. You know, what the fuck was I doing? But I needed all of that life experience to be where I'm at right now, to be doing what I am doing right now.
Alan Rickman said that. He was like giving advice to young actors, and he was like, go to a museum. Don't like be a well-rounded human being first.
Mhm.
Like you kind of have to. I mean, he got cast. The first thing I cast him was Die Hard. That was his first feature.
42.
Wow.
Yeah, he's 42 years old.
Yeah.
Michael Haneke didn't start making movies until he was 50.
Guys,
like
you
it's
haven't even begun.
yeah.
No.
You're a little baby 30-year-old.
Our acting teacher Lee says you want to have an interesting career, you need to have an interesting life.
That you have to be an interesting person to watch.
Yeah.
Yeah.
What's happened to you? What's fucked up that happened to you? Because these movies are fucked
Here
up.
we go.
You all right?
no,
Great
okay.
And you
question.
don't have to.
Yeah.
Yeah.
You don't have
Say
to
no
No,
open
this
that
is
box.
therapy. This
But
is
what
great.
have you seen? That's what we are here. We're
we
working on it.
go.
We're
I
talking
don't
about it. What?
No, I think it was I guess a lot of inadequacy of like if I did anything it wouldn't be I'm a perfectionist and so what is it perfect is the enemy of good or like it's better to have something that is done than perfect
Mhm.
and that it frightened me for so long that if I did something it wouldn't be what my standards
Good
were
enough.
and that I'd get made fun of on the internet and now
Okay, there it is.
I don't care. Yeah. So I don't know.
Were you
I think-
bullied really hard?
No, but I definitely used comedy as a way to fit in because I wasn't one of the cool kids. I was kind of the film nerd, and nobody really related to that. And so, but it was a very small school. I went to a school with 52 in the graduating class. It was a
Wow.
very small, which had benefits and it was complicated, but I felt very insulated. And then I went to college, and everybody was a film nerd, and so it kind of felt like finding my tribe. People that spoke the same language
My
as me.
tribe.
Yeah,
Yeah.
my tribe.
Clip it. It's so good.
Oh God, that's a clip. Yeah, no, I don't know. I feel like I wanted to do something really great, and I didn't know how yet, and like that was killing me.
Mm.
And it's very difficult. You're growing up, and you have ambitions for yourself. If you have ambition, that is the main thing that will get you to be successful. Like even if you don't have talent yet, if you're just ambitious and you're like, I'm gonna keep doing stuff. I see young people and they're so ambitious, starting TikTok channels and making stuff every
Yeah.
5 minutes, and it's so impressive. I wish I had that. It takes
I
me.
think you have that.
Yeah, you got that, dude.
Yeah.
Yeah.
I always
Okay.
said I
Yeah.
felt like
Yeah.
a red flame in my body when I would see people perform or do music, and I was like, I can do that, you know? And I was like, I want to do that. But I was like so insecure, but I knew something was in there.
Do you still feel insecure, or do like
Insecure?
when did you break
Remember
your
I played you a
insecurity?
song the other day? I wanted to die. You know, I was like so scared to play you that just to go
It
beep.
was great.
I was
Oh, yeah.
so afraid. I
It was
was
great.
full body sweat. I hate it. I hate it. So I talked to Emily Bear the other day because we've been writing. She's incredible. And she was like, I think we shouldn't have to play music for people. It sucks. Like, it's so scary.
Yeah, you have to go around, play it for the label, play it for
Oh my God.
Spotify, play it for Apple. You have to
That's
play
the
it in front of all
worst.
these
Like, do you
YouTube,
have to send your
corporate.
movies to
So
people
like, yeah,
and
do you
go
have to
like,
go
get
into
this
different rooms and be
approved?
like,
And watch them
am I
watch
worthy?
it?
Am I
had-
worthy? Yeah, you have to
I
watch them.
had-
Nightmare.
I'm very lucky. Two of my 3 features have been independent. The show that we made is independent, so I don't have many people that give me notes, or I don't have many checks and balances before it goes out. But that's kind of terrifying because
Yeah.
2 of my films came out during the pandemic, so I didn't get to see it with an audience till afterwards. So I didn't know if the jokes were working unless it was in
Oh.
a letterbox comment
Oh,
or
wow.
something. So like. It is, but the stuff that we do is so for the crowd. If you can't hear people enjoying the music, it's so stressful. And so we put them both out into the world without any checks or balances to see if it was ever going to work. So that was stressful, but it was fun. And it was like, if you do it long enough, you're listening to, you're like, I think that people will dig this. I think this joke is okay. I think holding on this moment is a good idea. All of those things that is just the chemistry of making artwork. If you do it long enough, you can predict where the audience is going to be, or your audience is going to be.
Genetics can be beautiful. Maybe you got your mom's eyes or her great skin, but genetics can also be a nightmare. You know, I got buddies, I hear them all the time. Dude, I got my dad's dad bod. What happened to me? We're hitting our 30s, right? He's just morphing into his father. He's like, I didn't think I'd turn out this way. I played quarterback in high school. Don't let genetics be a thing that holds you back from getting the body you deserve. Check out the Permanent Solutions by Sono Bello.
Our friends at Sono Bello are offering you their best deal. You're now included in their winter savings event, but you've got to act now because appointments are limited.
They're limited. Watch out. Sono Bello doctors are masters in micro laser fat removal, an amazing technique that removes stubborn fat permanently.
Take care of your problem areas, whatever they may be, in just one comfortable visit. And look, this doesn't replace working out or eating well, but if you've got stubborn fat that just needs to go away, visit our friends at Sono Bello. Save big during their winter savings event. Schedule your free consultation now at sonobello.com/workingonit. That's sonobello.com/workingonit.
When you're since you can edit everything and you do, like, so as you're directing and you're watching the actor and the cinematographer film it, like, you're just imagining the complete project in that moment. Are you in the moment going with the flow with things? Like, can you get lost being like, I know how it's supposed to look, and will it stump you, or are you able to just like let
That's
go?
what I think
us.
Jim is just watching him work is that he's so flexible.
Okay.
And he had a great relationship with his DP, which is the hardest relationship to find. A director and a DP who actually can speak each other's language, but
They're always
also
strangers.
but also trust each other.
Yeah.
And Jim had so much trust in the DP that we were working with, and vice versa, that whenever I'm blanking
Let him
on his
answer.
name.
Mac Fiskin.
Mac Fixin.
Yeah.
Whenever Mac would say like, "Hey, I really think we should do it this way," Jim would just be like, "Yeah, you think that? Okay, great."
Yeah,
Nice.
he has great sensibilities. I think really in directing a scene, like just for Daryl's intro, it's 7-minute long scenes, just cross coverage. There were times where I knew that we got it. So we'd record it twice and be like, every one of those is great. Let's do it even more extreme. Let's do it like really like pander to this person. So we would shoot Daryl's side and he would do it even more extreme, knowing that we already have it safely. Because in the edit, if we shoot the other side and the other actor is a bit more muted, I want to be able to have stuff to possibly use to make the chemistry of that scene work better. It's all this alchemy, and you do have to be present constantly. You're watching the monitor, you're running behind the monitor to talk to somebody to give a note and then come back. It's like you're thinking about the final product because you have to, of like, where is the audience going to be on this roller coaster? Can we afford to make this joke funnier, or is that going to take away from the drama of the scene? It's all the roller coaster.
But then Jim just turns it up a notch, and then he is the star of the show and is like on camera. So it was the first time I got
We
to
went
watch
back
an
to
actor.
back.
And
Oh my
we
God,
did
he said that was
monologues.
terrifying.
We did
He was like,
opening
then he
statements
went.
for a
Yeah.
trial.
Yeah.
We're opposing counsels.
Yeah.
And it was amazing. I had to go first.
Yeah.
I'm
Thank God you went
defense,
first.
and then Daryl went up and fucking killed it. And it's like it's 5 or 6 minutes of a monologue talking to a jury.
Wow.
And it was so funny. Everybody behind the monitor, like I had to be in frame, but PJ, like the wardrobe, everybody was behind the monitor, be like, Daryl is fucking great. It was so funny.
But
Yeah.
but having him, it was the first time I got to watch the director also act on camera. So I was watching you being like, are you editing in your brain right now? Like when you're
Yeah.
acting?
Yeah.
But you, like when you're acting, you're there, you're in it. And as soon as you said cut, then it was like back to Jim mode.
Yeah.
And
Yeah.
then
Yeah,
action.
It's awful. It's
Yeah.
awful. It was just like, be like, hey, is everything good? Boom, okay, action. How are you doing? And then like going into it, it's such a sprint. It's a nightmare. It's terrible. He
Make
has
it
such
look
a good
easy.
moment. He's talking to the jury. He walks up to the jury and he goes, is that Gucci? Love that. Love a well-dressed jury. He's intimidating the jury when he comes out. It's so funny. It was so genuine. It's hilarious. It's so good.
I cannot wait to watch it. Oh my
know, me too.
goodness.
We
Okay.
had fun.
We had fun.
While you were talking, I dissociated. And for 1 second, because
Classic.
I have a great idea. If you
Okay.
ever want to do a short film of a Karen or someone freaking out in a parking garage, think of me.
Okay.
Julia
fuck
just
yeah.
Because
Okay,
how
so
funny
wait.
would that fucking be?
I
So
will be an
Julia-
extra
Yeah.
for free.
Also, that's what I want to
Julia,
ask.
my
Your
wife
wifey,
said,
your
my
wifey.
wife,
You
the
guys act
writer, director,
together.
actor, we do. But she said that when we went out to dinner, that you were like, I'd like to act more. And
Yeah, she asked me, and I was like, I do.
what would you want to do? I mean, I guess full blown Karen in a parking lot.
Either
But
like comedy or like fucked up scary, or
You
those are my
should.
favorites.
you'd be good. Yeah, you like horror movies.
Her song
I love
Better, the music
But,
video, you're pretty much acting in that.
Yeah, that was my first time
With
acting.
Bo Bridges.
Bo
Yeah, Bo
Bridges,
Bridges.
Yeah,
bitch.
yeah, yeah. Wow.
Give that a little peek.
And
Handsome
he
man.
is cuckoo and love it. I love it. He
He
played.
was locked
He
in,
played my
dude.
alcoholic grandpa.
Yeah.
And it was supposed to be just like we didn't have any lines or anything.
Yeah, no audio. and
He
was-
goes, "We're gonna act. Let's go." And
It
we
was
start.
sick.
I'll show it to you. I start fucking freestyling, acting. Never
Yeah.
before in my life with Bo Bridges being like, "You're the worst fucking grandpa. Why would you fucking leave?" Like, and he's grabbing me, and I'm like, "Don't touch me!" I just went
Yeah.
full. I was like, "What am I? I'm going to say
I'm an
no."
actor
I
now.
was like, "Bitch, I'm an actor. Let's go again."
We were
I was
just- we
like,
were early
I
on
did it
in
our
once, and I got
dating.
the
What
bug,
just
and I was like,
happened?
"Do it
Yeah,
again."
I'm
I
ready.
love it.
I'm ready. Put me
He
in,
was like,
coach.
"You
I'm ready.
got
Yeah.
this." And I was
Yeah.
like, "Bo Bridges, baby."
That's great.
That
That's
was
great.
fun.
You do it once, and then it's like, oh, there's nothing to this.
Oh,
Oh, I
nothing
could
to
just
it.
do it. You just
Do
gotta
it.
believe it. You just gotta
Yeah.
believe it, and then do it, and then
I mean,
make
me
sure that
being
you're
a
in
pop
focus,
star
and
is
that's it.
acting, you know, I'm up there like
100%.
be hot, dance, smile, wave, you know, it's a whole thing.
The
like, how do
forum,
you
your
do it?
show,
I'm
the
like, I'm
forum was so
acting.
much fun to be a part. That was
Oh
so
my
great to see you
gosh.
doing the pop star and like the sexy stuff, and then you were so emotional as well. So it was like these big dance numbers, and you're also like, "Thank you, everybody. It was beautiful. I love this. We're in the forum, everybody." It was so fulfilling. It was great.
I
It
mean, it
was
was
good.
fucking
Yeah, that's
insane.
right.
Yeah.
You're like, "What am I cool about?" Oh, the lights were on. It was everybody had the wristbands. It was
Dude.
so fucking cool.
That was one of my favorite nights of my entire life.
That was
That
great.
was wild.
It's like my children, my wedding,
the
the forum. Because I never ever thought I would ever play there, you know? And I go there all the time. And I was like, dude, I'm on stage. I went with you we went to see Olivia Rodrigo. Amazing show.
What a show.
And I was like, oh no, I fucked up because I brought Jim. You and Julia haven't even been to many concerts. I think that
That was
your
our first concert.
really into
ruined them for
movies.
life.
Yeah. So then I brought him to Olivia, dude. And I was like, oh, we fucked up. I was like,
Yes,
okay,
Ryan was
so
there.
my show's gonna
was
be a
there.
little different. I was like, you would have loved it. We went to Olivia and I was like, my show's a little smaller. Okay. She has a beautiful big budget because she tours the world.
Yeah, for 2
And
years.
Yeah, for 2 years. I was like, she's like towards the end. And so mine's going to be brand new from 10 years of not. So
You were so nervous.
I
You
was
could
so
not tell.
scared.
I saw
I was
both
so
of them
scared.
back to back.
Not even for the whole crowd, for like my friends and family. I was like, oh, are they going to love it? You know?
It was great. It was so much fun. It was so emotional to see you at the end of the tour. It was so fulfilling.
Oh,
for
yeah.
me.
It was the last show. I was so exhausted. I was.
Jim got to
was
see
in
Chris
it.
Olsen lose his marbles on stage
Oh,
with
yeah.
Frank
We
Sinatra.
were sobbing
Yeah.
together.
And I filmed it. I was on my
I
phone.
know.
I was like, I was not
He did. He
expecting
goes,
this
"Oh
to
my
be
God."
such a moment where I was like perfectly framed. I was like, I should film this. I was like, this is like, you only get access to this kind of emotionality once in your life of this guy and this girl who've gone through
We
hell
really
together.
wanted to do a documentary. Wouldn't that have
beautiful.
been great?
Yes.
Of the whole tour.
Well, you
like,
have a
bring
lot
in
of
the kids
footage.
And do that.
We did the beta test documentary after we shot it. I was like, oh, we just have all this footage of us
No
going around.
way.
Oh, it was entirely done afterwards. I had no. We did like interstitial interviews where it's just talking head of me in the backyard. You could totally do that.
You have
That's
so much good
insane.
footage of like
You've got
Us
your
when
work
we
cut out
first
for you. You
started
got to do a
dating.
doc now. Yeah.
He hates
Yeah,
editing.
he hates editing.
No.
That's
No,
why I
no, no.
quit.
I have enjoyed editing my vlogs for
Really?
camping with Megumi. Yeah. I think I hated editing for you.
Yeah.
Yeah, he hated seeing like filming us kiss all the time. And
Oh my
fall
God,
in
it was a
love. He
nightmare.
was like, "You guys are awful," and I was like, "Wait, we're in love."
But also, it's got, I
Tampax.
think with the technology, like you got me that new MacBook a couple years ago, thing flies. Those new
Yeah.
chips, editing is much quicker.
yeah,
And I've gotten better at it. So I think I do enjoy it more so now. I think I hated everything when I was drinking.
yeah,
did.
yeah.
You
Yeah.
did.
I was just,
Myself.
I think-
Yeah.
hated
Do you
a
ever
lot.
think
I felt
there's like
so bad.
undiagnosed, or do you have ADHD or anything?
I do. Yeah.
You do?
I take Ritalin
I
for
knew
it. Yeah.
it.
Yeah.
No way.
Yeah.
I think you might have that.
I think I'm just lazy.
No, I think it's like, isn't it there?
Because when I do it,
I'm
do it.
uneducated. I don't know much about it, but I've heard like people with ADHD can't finish anything or like can't even start
Unfinished
stuff.
projects.
Yeah.
Yeah.
It's
That's
me.
right to a T.
I've
right,
also
right.
got a.
I have a
Ryan would
problem
be
with
so
me.
good at like drumming, and we were like, he's gonna be a drummer. This is it, and he's like, I quit. I
I
fucking
just
hate
get
it.
bored. I
Yeah,
got
he gets
done with
bored
this,
fast.
and I switch it up. It's
Also,
fun.
being a teenage boy, when people
Yeah,
are like, "Wow,
dude.
you're so good. You should keep doing
You're
this."
like,
I don't want to do it.
Yeah. Shut up, Mom.
I don't want to wash my
Yeah.
face.
we had a
Talking
family
about-
band, dude. We could have toured the world.
Did I fuck up? I fucked up. I tell you this all the time. I should have hung out in the studio
It's
at the
all right.
house.
Shoulda,
You
coulda,
would hate
woulda.
being
You're
a
doing
drummer.
great.
I have
You're
that
doing
like
great.
interest-based learning of just like if I'm interested in it, I'll really
Yeah.
do it. Like I
Yeah.
can spend 12 hours editing if it's something that I've made. If it's something else, it's just torture. It's
Yeah.
like I could like we would shoot for like 24 hours sometimes making a movie, and because you don't get tired from it. But if you're doing a desk job, you can't do it for 8 hours. You'll die. It's just
Yeah.
it's so torturous.
That's you, dude.
I know
Yeah, I
the
think it
feeling.
was when you were like, "Okay, we need this, this, and this," and you'd have to scroll through the footage and be like, "Where the fuck is all this shit?"
Yeah. That was
Yeah, like a lot of our gifts, which were the best gifts of any birthday or Christmas, was Ryan editing like homemade footage
Yeah,
of us.
and that was fun. Like I had like your
Those are
30th
good.
birthday. That I made like a mini doc of her timeless or not the timeless tour,
My whole
untouchable
life.
tour.
from like hospital
from
footage.
birth. Yeah.
Yeah.
That
And
was,
I was-
fun for me to make. I think the problem I had was I was shooting random shit and they'd be like, we want this specifically. So then I'd have
Yeah.
to go in and be like,
What
the fuck
year
do
was
they
that?
all
Yeah.
Get an assembly editor. Like that's very normal. If you hire somebody to just
What
go
is
through the
this?
footage, an assembly
See,
editor
this is the things
or
I
an
know.
assistant
I've told
editor
you.
is somebody that will go through all the footage and lining it up in different timelines. So it's like this is
Oh
this
my
scene, this is this
God.
scene. So normally when we do a feature, I'll have an assistant editor and assembly editor just sync all the sound, do everything lined up so it's just one sequence, and then I take the selects from that.
Where'd you
and put it
learn
into
this?
one
Did
thing.
someone tap your shoulder and go, assembly editor?
No, it's
Huh.
like all through college of just like you
College.
start, and that's sometimes the
We
first few
missed that
jobs that you
part.
get. coming
I
out.
mean, AI is gonna do it.
true.
It does. That's what's editing this podcast, right? I think,
Yeah.
you
Yeah.
know, just, you just
Yeah.
press one
AI
button.
named
We got
Justin.
Justin. Great guy. Crushes
It's
it.
great.
Who needs AI when you got Justin? This is
Yeah.
great.
And I like chatting with him. I don't want to talk to a robot,
Yeah.
Yeah, don't do
know?
that.
Robots don't talk back.
but I think AI will actually be useful somehow in the creative spaces. I think it'll help with like kind of organizing potential projects in a way. I think it could be the downfall of some stuff. But I think if someone uses it correctly to kind of make.
Have you used it yet?
I have.
Oh.
It's incredible. It's very interesting, and it is going to be very good for the Davids of the world and not the Goliaths. Like the
Yeah.
fact that somebody can use an iPhone or a laptop to emulate what is possible, quality wise for a studio. It's going to be unbelievable. But obviously, I don't make the rules. YouTube makes the rules. So YouTubers around the world are going to be using this stuff. I don't get to dictate that. It's like.
Yeah.
New technology is new technology. Somebody's going to use it and do something really cool, and who knows? I think it's going to be just additive magic tricks. It's like stuff that if the audience can't tell the difference, if you're comping out something, it'll be fine. But it is a bit unethical in many
I
cases.
really
Right.
got to see if I can notice this Adrian Brody
The
thing.
accent, right?
Yeah.
I saw him
the
talk
AI does
about
accent?
it. Hungarian
Shut up.
apparently is a really complicated. It's Hungarian, right? Is it?
I think it was
I
Hungarian.
think so.
Yeah. So they used they hired a company out of Ukraine to do the replacement of inflection of certain words because he didn't want to have a Hungarian audience watch it and go, that's gibberish.
Yeah.
And so he does speak Hungarian, Adrian Brody, but his co-star didn't. And so they used AI to help make it feel organic for Hungarian
Wow.
audiences because they wanted it to be real. And then people were like, oh, he used AI the whole movie. And it's like, I really didn't. And I can go through and show you all the work.
Oh wow.
I haven't
Just
seen
to
the film
polish
yet.
it. Just polish it up.
Polish it
Yeah.
off. That's,
Make it
that's
perfect.
nice. Make it perfect.
Yeah.
I have a random question for you. Do you ever sit in the mirror like Jim Carrey did and act in the mirror and like study your facial expressions and stuff?
Yes.
You do?
Often when I'm rehearsing, once I know the lines, I'll do it in a bathroom mirror because sometimes I'll be doing it and it's not connected where like my face is doing something different. And I'm like, oh, I kind of have to memorize how it looks good in order to do a good job.
Wow.
That's something specific
You,
to.
you do that.
Okay.
I have a
I'll do
very,
that.
I have a very expressive face. So
Yeah,
even
your
just like my
brows are
small,
incredible.
yeah. So anytime I do move them at all, it says so much. And
So
sometimes I
much.
have to like calm it down so it's not as intense.
That's the only thing
Wow.
I bark at Daryl for. So when he itches his chin. I
Yeah.
told you.
You
I
said
did
it.
it.
No,
I
but
didn't.
that's-
I've never noticed. I've never noticed.
Well,
But-
because I stopped
Thank
doing
God.
it.
Yeah.
Because
She
if
wouldn't let
you
me
do
leave the
that,
house.
said nobody
Yeah,
itches
but
their
if-
chin
yeah.
with their thumb.
But if you do Lee's class, she said use whatever you do. Everyone has something different. So like I like to scratch the top of my forehead, or I'll just like do that. But if you use those mannerisms in
It
your
looks
character, it
more
looks
real.
more. It looks like, oh, this is a
I
person.
agree with that.
Yeah.
I've never seen a human being go like
That's
itchy,
fine. That's
itchy.
Daryl's fucking thing, dude. Like
Itchy.
Leo's is the hair. He
That's
fixes his hair.
real.
But the
Sorry.
chin can be real.
I do that.
You look weird
Fix
itching
my
your
hair.
chin with your thumb.
I
It's a-
feel immediately smarter.
made up. If you have a beard, I get it. You know what I'm saying?
Hmm.
I could grow a beard.
Yeah, grow a little
That's
goatee.
all.
There you go.
That's what you're growing right now.
Yeah, I'm
right?
doing a goatee for the next thing. I'm gonna look hideous.
Oh no.
Yeah, I'm going to Tampa to shoot an indie film, and
They said
they're gonna give
goatee,
me like
please.
a buzz top, like
No,
military.
no.
Fuck
Yeah.
yeah.
Not the beautiful
And
hair.
I'm doing the
grow back.
goatee.
It
I'm
grows
playing a
back.
Florida Gators fan, and so I have to look
Oh
the
my
part. It's
God,
gonna
dude,
be
I can't
so
fucking wait.
humiliating. I cannot wait. It's gonna be great. It's gonna be great. Like
Hell
blue
yeah.
jeans, Florida Gator, like white polo shirt with the logo, and
Yeah.
like the black ring. It's gonna be really
I
funny.
went to college in Tampa. We would go to Florida,
No way.
Georgia tailgates.
Okay,
I know this
cool.
person.
Okay, cool.
I cannot wait.
I know them.
Yeah. So I'm playing him.
Yeah.
I'll be Doug for the next month.
Fuck yeah, dude,
yeah,
it is
I can't
Doug. Of
wait.
course
It's
it's
gonna be really
And
funny.
Chris is done.
All right, this was phenomenal.
Wait,
We
I
got-
have one more
well,
question.
Okay.
Yeah.
Your wifey
Yes.
also does what you do.
Yes. She's
like
a
the same
writer,
thing.
director, and actor. Yeah.
I didn't even realize that until I was stalking her and then talked to her in person of like, what do you do? And she was like, all what he does. And I was like, that's sick. Do you ever like decide we're gonna do this together? Or are you ever like, I need a girl to play this part. Can you do it? Or do you
She
keep it
gets pissed
separate?
that I say no. So like there are times where I'll write the character and the character's name is Julia, my wife's name, and then we cast somebody else to do it. So like
I mean,
it's
why would
awful.
you not cast her?
She's great. I act in her
Oh, you're
short
tough.
films. So I acted in Followers, her short, and I edited that as well. And I've edited, I think, everything that she's done in the last 10 years. So we work together a great deal. But she never feels bad about not getting cast. So she's like, I get it. So somebody else, it's fine. But I'd love to work with her more. She's a very talented actress.
Crazy business,
I
and I
would
love
kill
it.
you. No, just kidding. Can you
Can you imagine?
imagine?
Yeah.
It's just not.
I
it's
wrote
not
the
you,
part for
babe.
this
That's why- that's
beautiful
why she
woman
stopped
named
calling me in
Meghan.
for these
I'm gonna
group
cast
vocals that
yeah.
they do these
Yeah,
background
you
vocals.
won't do a duet
Oh,
with
yeah.
Daryl. You
What
want
are
to
you
be a
talking
singer.
about?
Come
What are you
on.
talking
Just
about?
let me come
What
out
are you
on
talking
stage
about?
and sing like I'm gonna lose you with you. Just let me do the John Legend
I
verse.
never knew you wanted
People
I
go
can do
nuts.
it. You've heard it. It's not bad. You've heard it.
Do your cover band, baby.
Oh, now I can do the
now
cover
you get the
band.
green flag.
He
I'll take
genuinely
it.
was about to do a cover band with like 4 dudes, and I was like, "This is my nightmare."
It was a
I
dad
don't
cover
want
band.
this.
Oh, that's
And we were
great.
gonna
Dude,
play
it's
like
so
we were gonna play
fun.
like All American Rejects.
Yeah,
and,
I
like,
don't know.
Yeah, Weezer. Yeah,
Yes,
do
come
it.
on,
Yeah,
man.
yeah, yeah.
Listen,
Thanks.
I've never
for
seen
I'm in.
happier dudes in my life than at that cover band show at the gas lamp in fucking Long Beach, dude.
Yeah.
We saw it was like Weezer, Blink 182.
Oh my
Yes.
God.
They were so happy. I go, Daryl should be up there living his dream.
I was literally learning how to sing "Fly Away" by Lenny Kravitz in the shower.
Yes, I love that song.
Yeah.
I could do it. Yeah,
On
yeah.
a
Highway.
Yeah, yeah,
We could do it.
We could right now. That was it. Promote everything you do. Everything's going on. What?
Okay,
Do your
Instagram.
thing.
Because I love you. Got to click the link on his Instagram. What is your Instagram?
I go by Jimmy C. That's me.
Jimmy C,
On
That's Me.
Instagram and Threads and Blue Sky and
You have
Reddit.
TikTok?
I do have TikTok, but I
getting on
don't use
TikTok.
it.
I'll
Yeah,
make your
I should do
profile.
it. All right, Megan's gonna
shorts
help me
will
The
out
shorts
and
will
do.
pop
Pop the
off.
fuck off.
Okay.
They want long form
Yeah,
content on there because they want
literally
people glued to the
The
screen.
church scene.
How long can you do it? How
10
long?
minutes
do they
now.
10 minutes? No
Yeah.
way.
Yeah.
I have
Yes,
short
dude.
films that are 10 minutes. Okay,
Yeah.
cool. I'll do that.
way.
I'll do that.
Yeah,
Okay.
People they'll get stuck watching your shit.
love it.
Okay.
Rack
I'll
them.
I'm gonna do that this
rehost it.
afternoon. All right.
Yeah.
All right. All right.
So excited.
Okay.
Thank you so
We're
much.
not
Thank you for
worthy.
being
Thank
a
you, thank you,
guest.
thank you for talking to us
Yeah.
for
Thank you
so
for having
long.
me. It was
We love
my
you.
pleasure.
You're perfect.
Fascinating.
You're incredible. You're our favorite person. And
I'll check back in when I'm TikTok famous. This is gonna be
I'm
great.
gonna
We'll do
repost you to
a-
my 18 million followers.
Oh God, no! Oh God, yeah, this is humiliating. I'm gonna be so stressed. I don't even know what I have on there. That's gonna be. I gotta delete some stuff.
Nope, it's perfect. Okay, we love you. Working
Goodbye,
on it,
everybody.
followers.
Thanks
Love
so
you,
much.
Julia.
Thank you,
Bye,
everybody.
Mom.
Love
Love
you,
you,
Julia.
Julia.